Welcome to a special episode of the G5 Hive. And boy, do we have something exciting for you all today. We have a very special guest joining us. He played his high school football at Valor Christian Academy in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. He started his career at Air Force. He played his last 2 seasons at Florida International. He is now a Colorado State Ram. He was tabbed Kevin Lytle's Offensive Breakout Player of the Year for the Rams in 2025. He is 6'5" and 245 pounds. He wears number 81 for your Colorado State Rams. He is Rocky Beers. Welcome to the show, Rocky.
Thanks for having me, Justice.
Let's go back to, I guess, where it all started for you. Who introduced you to the game of football? What got you interested in playing football?
It's like most other people, it was my dad. I think as soon as I could walk, we were out in the backyard throwing the football around. I remember my first serious injury actually was from football. He overthrew me and I ran right into a fence. I caught the ball though, but my mom wasn't too happy about that. So my dad introduced me to the game of football, and he made sure that my first word was actually touchdown. So yeah, I've been around football a while.
That's awesome. Did you play any other sports when you were growing up?
I did. I played basketball ever since I was little as well, probably earlier than football actually. And I played baseball a couple years, probably like 2nd through 6th grade, but that's about it.
If you weren't playing football at Colorado State, which other sport could you see yourself playing for the Rams?
Oh, shoot. I would like to say basketball. I don't know if I got the skill set to play with those guys after they just made their March Madness run, but I'd like to try out for the basketball team.
Do you have a nickname?
People just call me Beers usually. I just go by my last name, Beers.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you got an awesome name. So, like, who needs a nickname with such an awesome name?
I know. Yeah.
While at FIU, you got the opportunity to play college football with your brother, Rowdy Beers. What was that experience like?
I did. That was amazing. So, I was at Air Force when my brother was graduating high school, and an opportunity presented itself, and I was like, shoot, I could go down and play football with my little bro in Miami, down in the 305, and I snatched that opportunity up right away. I was like, yeah, sign me up. And we headed down to Miami. We got off the plane and immediately we got straight to sweating, man. Like everything down there is so hot. The practices, like just walking outside is hot, but it was an amazing opportunity. Me and him were roommates. So an average day would look like this. We'd get up probably around like 5:30, 5:45, and you have to practice down there early because it's so hot. So we practice early, get done with practice, go eat somewhere on campus. They have a bunch of great restaurants down there on campus. And then we'd go play pickleball for probably 5 or 6 hours in the middle of the day because pickleball is huge down there. So we'd go play pickleball for 4 or 5, 6 hours, and then we'd come back and play Mario Kart on the Wii, the old-fashioned Wii. And that's what an average day looked like in our summers. It was awesome. Yeah, I can't complain. And then on the weekends, we'd go hit up the beach, maybe go to a resort with our other friend, and yeah, I have no complaints about being down there. I enjoyed it a lot with him.
That sounds like an awesome day. Yeah, I'm in the South too, and the humidity is no joke. It's not necessarily the heat, but you combine that with a really high humidity, and like you said, you just walk outside and you're instantly sweating.
Yeah, I didn't know what the shower sweats were until I went down there. Like you hop out of the shower and you're already sweating again. But we had a good time. I think probably the funnest part that me and Rowdy had down there was the film room. The film room was just. It was straight jokes and giggles, man. We couldn't hold it together. Our coach would always get so mad at us. We'd get kicked out of the room for laughing at each other or making fun of each other. Yeah, the film room was fun.
Well, we've interviewed athletes from Air Force and athletes not from a service academy, but you're the first athlete we've spoken to this kind of experienced life at the service academy and then at another university. Can you kind of describe the difference in the demands of an athlete between the service academy versus, a normal college university?
I can. So at the academies, there is a high price that you pay for your athletics. You have to military does come first at the service academies, and then so do your academics. Like your academics, man, that's some of the hardest stuff I've ever done in my life was trying to handle academics and the military, and then whatever sport you're playing, that really comes last. And the coaches know that too. So they try to take it easier on you in the weight room and in practice. They like to keep things short and concise and straight to the point because they know you're running on fumes by the time you get to your sport. Because you wake up, you'll do military in the morning, and then you'll have a march, or you'll have a gathering that you have to get to, and then you have school. There's no online classes like a public university, so you have to be in person, and that'll last till like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and then you got to go straight to your sport, and you'll do that for 4 or 5 hours, and you're done by 6. Then you got to get back to your room and do homework straight away. So I'd say the biggest difference between the academy and the public school down at FIU was definitely just my free time and the load of stuff that I had to do. Like, there was hardly any free time at Air Force. I was always doing something, military, academics, or sports. But when I got down to FIU, I had a lot more time to just kind of decompress and, hang out with my friends and my brother. And it was a lot less stressful, I'd say, overall. But I thought coaches at both spots were great. I had no complaints with my coaches or position coaches. So football-wise, I'd say it was about the same. Our practices at FIU were a lot longer because we didn't have the academic stress or the military stress. So a public university is, at least in my experience, the practices were a lot longer, which was a big shift for me. And I had to stay locked in on football for a lot longer than I was used to.
Reflecting on that journey from Air Force to Florida International, now to Colorado State, what has been the most significant lessons you've learned both on and off the field?
It doesn't matter where you're at, as long as you work hard and you surround yourself with good people and you show up every day. It really, a lot of it is determined by how much work you put in. It doesn't matter where you go. Every spot has the weight room. Every spot has the turf, the grass field. Every spot has rehab. It's just what you put in is what you get out. So as long as you're taking yourself and your good work ethic with you, it doesn't matter where you go.
What led you to choose Colorado State to further your education and football career?
Well, down at FIU, I played one season, and I started my second season. I tore my hamstring first game against Indiana on a touchdown. So I graduated last December, but my coaches down at FIU got fired. The new coach coming in, he said that he was most likely not going to be handing out money for people to get their masters. And I had just graduated in December. I was like, well, if I'm going to be on the back burner, I don't know if he's going to pay for my master's. I'm going to have to go into the portal and find somebody that will pay for my master's if I want to play. So CSU hit me up once I hopped in the portal. And one of my friends here, Tanner Morley, we call him Tubbs. He's our offensive lineman. Great anchor on the lineman, great anchor on the field. He leads us well, but he put in a good word for me, and he basically got me here. And I was like, shoot, it's close to home. I got a fiance here now, so I was like, yeah, I think Colorado's a spot. And they use their tight ends a lot, so that was intriguing to me.
Yeah, they have a great history of
yes,
tight ends and putting them in the NFL. So definitely a great spot there. Having gone through the recruiting process a couple of times, what things did you learn or do differently from your first time in the process?
Well, I've been fortunate with recruiting because I haven't really had to put my name out there all that much. For me, it's really been about who I know. Because to get into the Air Force Academy for basketball, my high school basketball coach went to the academy, so he put in a good word for me, and he was pretty much my recommendation to get into the academy. So I really didn't have to get recruited through that. When I hopped in the portal, my brother was already down at FIU, so the tight ends coach already knew him. He's like, all right, just come down to FIU with your brother. So I didn't really have to go through a recruiting process there, any official visits or anything like that. And then same with CSU. I mean, Tubbs pretty much told them what I was about and showed them my film. And I was in the portal for like maybe a day or two, maybe 3 days. And then I committed because I knew I wanted to come here. So I haven't really had an elaborate recruiting process. I never went on all those visits. I've been fortunate with who I've known. So that's pretty much been the biggest thing, is who you know in this game.
What advice would you give an aspiring high school player about, that's looking to get recruited?
I'd say speed kills over everything. Like, that's what's gotten me through a lot of the depth charts. Is I'm not always the biggest, I'm not always the heaviest, and definitely not always the strongest, but speed can make up for a lot of things, and grit and work ethic can too. But for a kid that's trying to get recruited, just enjoy the process and go on as many visits as they can and speak well, and just, be a good person. People like good people in the locker room. They like locker room guys. So just be a good dude. That's half the battle.
If you could pick 2 tight ends to train with, learn from, watch film with, etc., who would you pick and why?
That's a tough one. I like a lot of tight ends, but I really like George Kittle because I'm kind of his size, same build, somewhat height. I think he's about 6'4". I'm about 6'4", 6'4.5". He's like 235 to 245. I'm in that range as well. And he's on the faster side, and I would say I'm on the faster side as a tight end. So I would really like to learn from him, especially his routes. His route tree is just impeccable, the way he plants and gets out of there, and he just runs so aggressively. And then for my second one, I'd probably have to go – I'm going to go with somebody who's still in the league. I'm going to have to go with Mike Gesicki because his hands are crazy. Either him or Dallas Goedert. I just love so many tight ends. I try to model my game after a lot of different tight ends, but I'd have to go Mike Gesicki or Dallas Goedert for my second one.
When you're studying film and watching other tight ends, which things are you paying the most attention to?
For me, it's footwork in line. So when the tight end is attached, I'm really focusing on their hand placement and their footwork, and then at the top of their routes, kind of how they're cutting inside their frame and how they're opening their hips and throwing their arms. Because that's something that I'm trying to get better at, is the top of my routes as well.
What do you feel is your main strength as a tight end?
I feel like I'm a very consistent guy day in, day out. I always bring the energy to the weight room, to the locker room, on the field, in our speed drills, and I feel like I'm just a consistent guy that shows up every day. So yeah, I like to be there. I just like to be on the team, man. I just like to be in the locker room with the boys. That's what I love.
What are your goals for 2025 and moving forward, both team and personal?
As a team, we need to take home the Mountain West or Pac-12 championship. I don't even know what conference we're in now with all the realignments, but we need a ring.
Still Mountain West for one more year.
Yeah, we need a ring for sure. I know we're playing a lot of Pac-12 teams this year, but we need to have a good year, and we need to go get a ring. Personally, I just want to contribute however I can to that ring. I just like feeling like I am of use, whether that's on special teams or offense. I mean, shoot, they could even put me on defense if they needed me to. I just want to be a part of something.
As I mentioned in the introduction, Coloradan reporter Kevin Lytle told us you were his breakout player for the Rams in 2025. But we wanted to give you an opportunity to shout out some of your teammates. Who are some of the guys that we need to know for the Rams going into the 2025 season?
I got to give my boys in the tight end room some love. Jackson Warren, he's pretty much unguardable when you split him out wide or in line, where he's a great long blocker. He gets his hands on you because he's got a super long wingspan, and at 6'7", it's pretty hard to guard him with a corner and even with safety help. So I'd say definitely look out for Jackson Warren. On the line, you got to look out for Tubbs. I mean, that dude's been the anchor of the offensive line this whole offseason, and he's going to be doing great things for us. And then obviously BFN, Braden Nicolosi, he's going to be a dog per usual. He's been starting since his freshman year. So, and then the wide receivers, I'm not going to give them any love. They get their fair share of love.
If someone has not seen you play, what one game would you recommend for them to watch? It could be a game in high school or college.
I would tell them to watch probably my game when I played at FIU against Arkansas. That was a fun game. I can't remember his name, but there's a bald guy that he had alopecia, I believe. He just got drafted from the Oklahoma Sooners DN, and I think I had a decent game against him. I proved to myself that I could hang with the best, and had a couple catches that game, did decent blocking. I contributed in special teams quite a bit. So I'd definitely say that Arkansas game at FIU.
If you could replay a game, whether it's a high school or college game, what game would you replay and why?
I'm going to have to say that's a tough one. I really liked when I was at Air Force. We played Army down in Texas. That was so much fun. We played in a baseball stadium, professional baseball stadium. We won that game. It was so much fun. I didn't contribute much on offense because I was behind some really good players, but I contributed a little bit on special teams, and that was just so much fun to beat Army in Texas. That was a great game.
Is there a particular routine you have on game days, maybe a pregame meal or a song or artist that you have to listen to?
Shoot, I don't really listen to music on game days because I'm trying to get locked in. But I might listen to a song or two. I like the country mashups or maybe even some house music. As far as food goes, I try to keep it pretty light on game day because I feel faster. I feel faster when I don't eat anything. The night before, though, I'll definitely eat some candy, like some Mike and Ike's or Reese's Pieces for sure. I love my candy.
When you're not playing football, what do you like to do with your time?
I do a lot of hammocking. I like to mountain bike. Not downhill mountain bike. I just kind of trail bike. I'm too scared to do that downhill mountain bike. I'm trying to get a motorcycle soon. Don't tell my mom that, but I'll hide that up here in Fort Collins. She's down in Littleton, so she won't know. um, what else? I also really like to I like to paddleboard on lakes. We got a nice little lake up here in Fort Collins, Horsetooth, and I try to get out there and paddleboard once in a while.
Have you been playing the new EA Sports college football game?
No, actually, I don't really play video games.
Okay.
I spend most of my time outside. I don't like video games all that much, except for Mario Kart Wii. I will play that.
I'll ask one more question about the college football game. They gave you a rating of 73 last season. Do you
That's
feel
kind of rough.
So what are you hoping you get this season?
Oh man, we got to shoot for at least a B plus. Because in a master's program, if you're getting a 73, I think that's pretty much failing at that point. So we got to go for at least an 87, 86. We got to get in the high 80s for sure.
What's your favorite thing to eat? Your favorite meal?
Ooh, stromboli. That's a Midwestern thing. I don't know if many people know that out in Colorado, but stromboli is so good. I love stromboli. I'll put down a whole loaf of stromboli.
Is there a favorite place you like to eat there in Fort Collins?
I've been to a lot of spots, but I think I'm gonna have to go with this little taco shop. It's hidden away in a corner, and it's called For Americans. And dude, they make some killer tacos. They got this one called the Pastor for $3, and I try to get like 8 or 9 of those every time I go. So good.
So For Americans, if you're listening to this, you need to hook Rocky up with an NIL deal.
Yeah,
Maybe,
for real.
or name a combo after him. Something. Come on, let's go.
Absolutely.
Fort
The
Collins.
beer's taco. That might have a ring to it. That might sell.
That's right. That's right. Fort Collins is big for their breweries and their beer. New Belgium actually has a section called the New Belgium Porch behind the north end zone.
Yes, they do.
They're at the stadium. So we have to know, will Rocky Beers party in the New Belgium Porch after every touchdown in the north end zone?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'll be drinking water over there, but I'll be celebrating down there with the fans for sure. I might even hop over that little LED wall that we got. I'll be celebrating in there for sure. No beers for me though. Not during game or after. I don't drink actually, contrary to my last name. But yeah, I'll be celebrating down there for sure.
And it's given your name and where you're at, like it seems like an NIL deal made in heaven. Unfortunately, the NCAA rules don't allow for it, but maybe one day they will.
Maybe.
If you could sit down and have a conversation with any 3 people of your choosing, dead or alive, who would you choose and why?
One, obviously, Jesus Christ. I mean, smartest man, kindest man, most loving man that ever walked the earth. So that's got to be number 1. Number 2, I think I have some Indian ancestors on my dad's side, so I want to see some Native Americans. So I kind of want to see what they have to say. Who else? Shoot, probably Abraham Lincoln, because he was the best president to ever grace our nation.
If you had to tell an aspiring high school player what the hardest part of playing college football is, what would that be and why?
The daily grind in the fog of war. Sometimes when you're in the trenches, you forget that you love it, but you have to remember that you love it, and you got to love every day and every workout. You can't get caught up in just like, oh, I'm just trying to get to spring break. I'm just trying to get to summer break. I'm just trying to get to winter break or finish the season. You got to remember that you love it, and you got to go win every day. So yeah, just know that there's going to be the fog of war, but remember that you love the game.
A couple of fun questions and we'll get you out of here. If you had to pick any letter in the alphabet to win a fight against the other letters, which letter are you picking and why?
R 100%, because like you got the little round piece up there, that'd be like its little shield, and then you got the little legs, that'd be like kind of like the sword. So I'm definitely taking R for my first name.
All right. Last question. Coach Norvell comes in and says, no need for pads today, boys. Grab your running shoes. We're doing laps. What position group does your mind immediately go to that caused it?
Probably the wide receivers. Definitely the wide receivers. One of them was either late or one of them didn't finish through the line, but they'll probably hate me for it, but definitely the wide receivers are always getting us in trouble here and there.
Well, Rocky, I just want to thank you again for taking some time out of your day to spend with us. We greatly appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me on the show.
If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you're listening in podcast form, please rate and review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Thank you all for your support. And until the next time, we are the G5 Hive.